Everyone seen and accounted for. We let everyone know that DK are on the blue side. T1 will then therefore be on the red side, but we're jumping straight into this draft. We're not showing you that that's where they
DK
are.
versus
Let's let the
T1,
draft speak
game
for itself,
1.
shall we? As already he is there to be taken away. Now, they're going to follow the template.
Let's see who
It's
can win the
Kazir,
game.
Lilia, and Ash that are going to be
It's a
taken
banning
away
phase.
from T1, and then we'll see what happens. Instead, we're sticking to Sharifa.
Yeah, and it feels like a lot of teams have been target banning Faker, not just during summer, but also just generally, even back to Worlds last year. It's been a strategy to really limit these counter picks he can lean on. Azira and Nasus gone, Lilia gone for Ona, and now T1, they ban away the Rumble, they ban away the LeBlanc, and they go for that Smolder. So Maokai has been left open and available, often a pretty high priority ban.
Showmaker versus
and
Faker.
also that Vi
Let's
is
see
an
who
option
can win.
as well. Obviously a pick he's pretty fantastic at.
Yeah.
Ziggs on the cards. Neither of these teams really had too much success with Ziggs, so we'll see how that one sort of shows up in this draft. If either team has been able to have time to go away and practice it. And it looks like D Plus confident
Ziggs.
with it. Will
For
go
aiming.
for that Ziggs. Now the Ziggs does sync very well with the Vi, the whole point and click, undodgeable CC combined with a huge damage.
It's a
ultimate
Corki
is very
for Faker.
effective. So expectation is
Maokai
to see D Plus
for
pick up Vi, but Ona
Honor.
picking up the Maokai, something we haven't seen very much from him at all. And clearly both teams have gone away and done some preparation. So now Corki Maokai 41, a stable mid pick Faker.
Oh, I like this.
Ona.
The tree battle would make me feel a lot better than the Sejuani. Currently, I mean, Blizzard in the regular
I think
season
Sejuani
had,
is a better
a
option
38% win rate on
with Ziggs.
Sejuani was his most played champion. This was 80% and was a whole lot better. The Vi going to be coming through. And what's stopping them from going like Vi to Leah here? If they can get a little bit of extra damage coming from that top lane.
Yeah, I think maybe they, honestly, you could even take a support pick here for Mohan and have it locked in before. The Ziggs Leona's been a really strong combo, so you could lean into that if you want to get it before the next phase of bans. Even if you're going to prioritize the Rel, but I think they want to go for the lane that really syncs well with the
Leona.
Ziggs. It also means that single
Another
target
10.
by ult onto, Leona can follow up from a distance with the ult. That CC lane, very powerful. So now T1, they haven't really opted into anything for the bot lane. If there's something they want to pick up there, kind of now is the time. But I feel like we've seen Ashe and MF really struggle into the Ziggs specifically, so maybe Jhin would be something they pick up, but instead looking for a pick here for this, and I'm not hugely convinced by this. You know, the Xante's been fine.
That's
It's been a
Xante
stable
be
pick,
fine.
but you're not using the counter pick for this. It does mean they have counter pick for Carrier though. We'll have to see what they're able to pick up this situation. And going through the next phase of bans, I think you can easily start to ban away picks. I mean, it's obviously both solo lanes inside of D plus haven't been picked up, so that's targeting something.
I think T1 can play double ADC line.
Either party, the
Bot line.
Small's already gone, sorry, but maybe like Tristana. They're going to start with the Gangplank.
Yeah, so GP going to be taken away. And this is sort of what they decided to do. They're like, we can pick our top laner and then we can ban away counters to it. But that means that they picked both of their solo lanes face up when they could have actually already counter-picked the support, right? Like, Leona's already there.
Yeah.
So you can already take that one away if you'd like to. It does mean that now D+, there's a lot of things that they would be, they would really like to ban. The Jhin, the Ashe, lots of other things. The Jhin first one going to be taken away here. I think the Ashe doing double duty is pretty important to be taken away. Of course, Keria and Gumayushi can both play it, so maybe you just remove that.
I think I'm not convinced by the Ashe. We've seen it really struggle because obviously, you know, compared to Jhin, who can sit back and ult, Ashe needs to be in auto range if playing any carry Ashe. So I think it's not a great pick in a Ziggs ultimately.
Oh yeah, true.
To the Ashe. The Zeri ban I think is good. You know, I think especially with the AP bot laner in the Ziggs, you really want an AD mid laner, one of these AD carries. And the pool's been thin quite heavily. Corki denied, Smolder and Zeri gone. As
Senna?
Out. Senna, honestly, you know, specifically into the Ziggs, because Ziggs is so poke heavy, the Senna sustain could be a massive problem. So, you know, I can see it being picked away. The MF is banned. MF, another pick that's really struggled. And they are just going after Neela, so it's probably going to be Neela Senna. This would be a composition that would lack damage, but have a ton of sustain. Hard to cut through. We did see a composition the other day that ended up with to Senna that lacked the damage quite a bit, but this has at least a little bit more. We'll see what D plus end up looking towards. Looking at the Quake right now. I think Bayari's super strong combo.
Yeah. Talia wouldn't be bad as well because there's a lot of dashing in, like especially for Gumayushi. Like I think Talia, one of Showmaker's best. It's also like such an incredible combo alongside the Vi. obviously Garen is the pick here. Like, what else are you gonna do, Kingen? Like, Garen is the man.
You know, Garen, way back when Cassante first showed up, was theorized as an OG counter into the Cassante. Obviously, Cassante ult gets low, you just ult him back. But it looks like they want to get a sustained AD damage and are leaning towards the Gnar right now. We'll lock that in.
I don't mind the Gnar, actually. Can play it a little bit more aggressively, and that is not
Nice
that is in fact a lot of experience.
Yeah, this is
That's
experience.
so much experience in
Zillion.
the bottom lane. My God.
And
Nyla
also, if we think about
Cassante,
the
Maokai,
play
and
pattern of
Percy.
Zillion combined with like a Maokai,
Versus
speed of
Dinar,
the Maokai, you can charge
V,
in, double
Talia,
ball on top
Ziggs.
of the root.
and Leona.
Really difficult to play against. We'll have to see how this one plays out. T1 put a lot of faith in this pretty bot lane, but if you're a T1 fan, you know, you might look at this with some reservations. Oh, this is crazy, but I think you want crazy from T1. You want them to be cooking a little bit in the bot lane. I feel like T+, a bit more standard, a lot of sort of lockdown, a lot of follow-up for that lockdown. So, you know, pick potential for D+ is kind of off the chain, but into a Zillion. You know, if your job is, I'm going to select one target and take them out, Zillion really hamstrings that.
Yep. And T1's task is to win a game on red side. That's what they have to do. And I think every time they're on red side this series, it has to be Hail Mary. It has to be, let's try and put them on an uneven footing moving into this game, mix things up. Because we've seen both of these teams be very, very powerful when they get blue side advantage. I think D+ have created themselves a gorgeous draft with this. Definitely some question marks about, you know, is aiming going to be that Ziggs player we're looking for? Will they have enough physical damage? And can Showmaker actually put on that pressure alongside Lucid this time around? I mean, this
Let's see who can win the
We're
game.
going to be focusing on the side of T1, and there is a lot of experience to be had for those two. See what happens. We dive into the rip. Game number 1. Low Park erupting here as both of these teams attempt to stay alive. Now, Rebank playoffs. A ticket to Gyeongju is happening after this for the winner of this series. And of course, doesn't mean that they're going to the grand
The
finals.
winner will
but
be
at least they're gonna
play
be there
from
in the cool stadium.
next team, and the
have a
loser
great
will be
time.
go
Of course,
home.
It's just a beautiful city. You know, we've had LCK finals all over the place here in Korea, but Gyeongju is one of my personal favorites. Looking forward to exploring down there as well. So, let's see who is going to be joining us. It's also the most famous school trip city, is what I just learned from Jisun. That's why I had that slight pause, because we're learning.
Learning a lot. You're going to be learning a lot this game with the Neela plus the Zillion. And you're looking at enact a lane swap here. And I think what's really important with this Neela and this Zillion is getting an early advantage in terms of, not necessarily in terms of winning lane, but it's a very snowbally pairing. We've seen Neela's when it falls behind just do 0 damage, feel not impactful, but also Zillion. If you're ulting defensively, like you have someone just getting blown up immediately, ult to save them, and they die again, that feels a lot worse than when you're ahead. Zillion feels so oppressive because if you have a fed Corki with a massive bounty, the enemy team invests everything to kill him and he gets rezzed, it's really frustrating. We see already one of the benefits of having this Neela in the lane swap situation is the XP is being shared between Uma and Zeus. So, you know, rather than just Carrier getting that extra experience, it's actually Zeus getting it. And I feel like you sacrifice gold when you go for lane swaps. We know that's the thing, especially against the Ziggs, the play's going to go down quick. So this is a risk. But the thought process for T1 is they are trying to benefit in terms of experience. You know, you're lane swapping to avoid the early levels for both Neela, who's melee in the bot lane, and the Xante, who's melee in the top lane, and hoping to get some extra XP from them.
Carrier is also already going to get down here towards the bottom side of the map, wanting to be able to soak this minion wave if he can. And with the bombs, with the fact that he did make it to level 2, he'd be kind of alright. Still going to not risk it.
Yeah, I think Moham hitting 2, it's such an easy dive between those 3, so definitely scary. And seeing a bit of proxying here from Guma, definitely something that Neela can do well, a lot of wave players, so, you know, no surprise they're going to see a bit of a short swap. We'll see King and TP back up towards the top lane, and it's 2 plates going down. TP was also taken by Guma, so sometimes we see the team who swaps, the other team can deny them from getting back to the tower. The TP with Kerry being nearby, not even allowing that to be a thing.
Yep. Life was actually the last one to play the Zillion almost 2 years ago up against Lahens when he was on KT. Very interesting. Of course, Life, a known chef, has now moved over to the LPL, of course. But see whether Carrier can be a little bit more successful than what we saw last time around. Okay, let's see whether this is going to work as Moham and Lucid moving in. The Zenith Blade going to connect as the interrupt was really nice. That's going to get the flash out from Gumayushi. And Lucid unable to actually find a kill here.
Nice use of a spell by Gumayushi.
And Kyria will collect the bomb as he makes his way back to the lane.
Yep. Good moves from Lucid there to punish the flash. One thing to mention, because Guma has that teleport, he doesn't have cleanse, but into the Leona you have your W, which can obviously mitigate.
Yeah, the shield of Daybreak.
Yeah. Yep. So powerful early, but definitely something to be concerned about Guma not having that cleanse later on. We'll go in again here. And something else to mention, it's not just the fact that you have the Jax effect of dodging autos. Neela W also, while it's active, reduces magic damage by 25%, which, when you're playing into Ziggs Leona, which is all magic damage, the extra durability does make a difference. Now, Ziggs can still harass you down, but in an all-in, that reduced damage, the fact that Neela can dive and get on your face can be really problematic. So, D+ doing fine in the matchup now, but something they have to be concerned about. One thing to mention is, even though they only got 2 plates on the bot lane, it really puts it so close to Satchel range already. If any mistakes happen for T1, if Guma gets hit by a few too many Qs, has to recall, they could just lose that tower. So definitely a lot of danger there.
Yeah, and we'll see whether, aiming can pass the Ziggs test. We do have, the Ziggs purist here towards the top side of the map, and there's a lot of expectation, and Faker could be in trouble here. Seismic shove not quite going to come through, does get the flash.
Nice
Finally
flash,
comes
Faker.
out. Faker gonna have to get out of here. We'll be able to teleport back to lane.
And this was kind of an interesting one because Faker saw Lucid earlier and obviously saw him go to the top side. Maybe expected him to go towards drugs or something, but I think he should have been playing more towards the bottom side of the lane so he couldn't get queued at the fog of wall.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, maybe just not expecting Lucid to make the gank happen there. Does end up getting punished, does end up losing the flash, but doesn't go down. Still going to survive there. We do get resets coming in and a swap happening. So something to mention is that obviously Ziggs is probably the best tower taker in the game. Neela is pretty good too, but you're still going to lose this race against the Ziggs if he gets tower access. But right now, because of the grubs, all of D+ lean towards the top side. The XP level up coming in. Guma already 6 for this grub fight. I think the call for D+ should just be opt out of this and maybe try and set something up bot, but they're already here on the top side. I don't think they can get there in time.
Yeah, that is going to be 2 grubs taken here. Is now Kingen with Meganar is going to find it. Onto Owner into the wall. He mistimed the twisted advance just a little bit, and there is the punch from Lucid to take first blood. They'll grab the second
Nice
one as
play
well.
by
Shoemaker
DK.
collects the kill onto Gumayushi, and it's a disaster for T1 in the river.
And it feels like this early game has really been around Guma getting level 6, using that power in the grub fight, but Kingen's Meganar ends up being more valuable. Aiming TPs in, Faker's not even there for the fight. And it feels like this early plan all kind of gone topsy-turvy for T1.
Yeah, gone to the wayside. And now Carrier looking to try and hold on to this wave. Be able to slow down Moham a lot. Thankfully, Moham has that really cool ability to press W and take 0 damage from anything ever.
Very strong.
Yeah,
Very powerful.
yeah, it's weird that it got into the game. Good old Eclipse. What a great skill. There's okay. Ona going to be down here towards the bottom side of the map, taking this Rift Scuttler. And let's have a look at this fight one more time. I kind of missed when the apotheosis happened, and that's what I'm going to be looking out for because I was focused on Lucid being able to finish off this kill.
Guma uses it kind of defensively here, but it's Meganar, so you can't do too much with it. But the thing is, like, Faker's not even here, and Zeus is bot lane. So 2 members of T1 just weren't even at the fight. And also, when they were retreating from the grubs in that way, I think honestly, when they wanted to get out, they should have gone towards the wall. Owner should have flashed, and maybe Guma E'd over the wall to him. But when you walk up that way, the Meganar has such a fantastic angle to slam you into the wall, and it does end up backfiring quite spectacularly. Dragon is up right now, which obviously both teams could end up leaning towards. It was 2 grubs to 1 in favor of T1, but with the kills going over, I don't think you feel too happy about the outcome.
I really love when all party Ziggs satchels himself.
Oh, it's
The fins, you know, like the flippers in the air, it just looks fantastic.
it's the best skin.
It
Let's
is
be
actually
real.
just the best.
There's some champions where like a new skin comes out, you're like, oh, is this one better? There's some where it's like, oh, this one's really fancy. But no, this one is just peak Ziggs.
It is.
No.
I don't think you could ever beat it. Like, I mean, another example is I don't think we're ever beating the train driver on. Like, I don't think that's ever going to get beat because it's so fantastic to be able to throw trains at people. Like, that's really cool.
Pretty good. The goofy skins are always peak, you know.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, there are some goofy ones I'm like huge fan of. Like the Corky.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a bit of an abuse case.
Yeah. Seen a bit too much. And also, you know, if you compare, like, especially with Air Corky, there's also the
Corky.
Yeah, the Corky, which is just, you know, that is peak.
That is true. That is true. It was certainly upgraded. As a result of all of this, 800 gold going to the lead here. DK is another Mega Gnar into the wall here from Kingen. Zeus taking a lot of damage. Of course, this is Kingen moving toward the end of the year. And that is a scary prospect. A dive potentially on the cards here, but all out still available here for the Cassante. And remember, I mean, it was Showmaker that coined the copy pasta, so DK knows exactly what to expect from this champion.
Showmaker was walking top, and maybe he thought about that, and that's why he back.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, it's Cassante. I'm going back mid.
I'm going back. You can handle this on your own.
Yeah.
And it looks like Kingen lose a Mega Gnar. They opt not to go for the dive in the situation. Dragon does go to C1. So they have been able to pick up that. And Ona grabbing the early locket. Seen all the Maokai's move towards this for quite a time. It was the Zeeks for that early stat rush, but the active not really contributing that much for the locket. Really powerful. Because it's such a cheap item, you're getting it so much quicker than any other jungler is going to complete their first item.
Yeah. Kind of like it. Definitely better than the Leandries that we've been seeing from some of our Maokais, trying to make up for some of the lack of magic damage from some of these compositions that we have seen come through. Certainly Faker with a slight gold advantage in that mid lane, but it is very, very slight. And now aiming with some spare time here on this bottom side, and it's 10.5 minutes into the game, and he is heading towards satchel ability on this outer turret. Zeus coming down to look to defend, but I think it's a couple of punches, and Lucid will be able to take this one. Doesn't find the Vault Breaker. The satchel going to be used away from the turret. Not sure about that one. As we have an Ignite going down, he walks through the minefield, and that's going to be cease and desist coming in. Can they kill him in time? Yes! Is the answer to that, and more will go down as well. So a 1-for-1, definitely best case scenario here for Zeus.
Yeah, very scrappy there, and you saw Aiming use the satchel to try and disengage Zeus from the tower, but then by using the satchel for that, it obviously ended up missing.
He couldn't disengage the turret from its life, unfortunately.
Which would have made that dive a lot easier and Moham's life a lot longer. And in return, you know, obviously Ziggs, one of the best tower takers in the game, of the double dash.
Yeah, Kingen a little bit too far forward here as the teleport's coming in, and he's got Mega Gnar coming up as well. The Apotheosis already down as Nature's Grasp just to try and get them out of here. Will be successful in doing so.
Nice for safety.
Good disengage there from T1, but possibly a little overzealous.
I think though they're happy with the result. They got the extra TP.
True, and the flash.
Yep, so I think the resources expended there are good, but it kind of shows that, as I was saying, even though Ziggs probably the best tower taker in the game, Neela's still pretty good as well and able to match it. We see the double TP coming out. Uma's going to go bot, focus the tower, and Zeus, he's back on that weak side duty. He's like, you know what, you won for one before, you're doing a pretty good job at it, we'll put you up to it again.
Well, I'm hoping that they move Ziggs up there. It's still, you know, you've got plates for another 2 minutes as Seismic Shove not going to quite find the CC under Zeus, but is going to be able to get the damage as Moham's making his way in. The teleport from Aiming is going to get there, and it's another chain CC onto the Cassante. This time he's unable to take anyone with him as the ulti back there. This time the Twisted Advance was good, and Owner is able to escape death, but the turret will not, and T1 looking to try and trade it with an inner here towards the bottom side.
Yeah, so in terms of turrets, you know, you get the plates mid, Faker. Oh, the ult's going to come in from the Ziggs. Plate's still going to go down. So Faker's getting a decent amount of gold there.
Oh,
in the bot lane,
big.
Yeah, I mean, this is the tower taking potential off this Neela. But still, it feels like T1 put Zeus up there, maybe didn't pan out the way they hoped. Hoping he could survive a little bit longer to defend the turret, but obviously the Ziggs coming in just absolutely destroys it. Right now, though, you know, one of the things with the Neela is there is a ton of sustain in this champion with the Bloodthirst Affairs. Aiming already picking up an Oblivion Orb to try and mitigate that.
One of the things that I'm a little bit worried about here for T1 is we've seen an example of it already. We'll see it right here in the replay. They can 100 to 0 you while you're chain CC the entire time very, very quickly.
Yeah. Zeus not having a fun time in these situations. And it just feels like even a champion like Kasante, who has the W to mitigate CC, once they burn it, once they sort of bait it out, if one bit of CC lands, as you said, you're just gone.
Yeah. And even though the inner turret was taken, that gold lead still exists here for D+. I think the Dragon, very important, +5 grubs for T1. And so as far as early objective takes are concerned, T1 in a very, very good position right now. See whether they can continue stacking up these dragons, which could really help mitigate the slight gold disadvantage that they have right now.
I'm interested where the gold is, because obviously Guma got a lot of gold from the towers. Faker also got a lot of gold from those plates mid. So I feel like maybe Zeus is probably the one struggling in the gold department right now the most. And I think they would be okay with that. But the gold lead isn't that big regardless. Both teams set up around this Herald.
Solo player going to connect here. No one to Twisted advance to, and there's the chain CC once more. They do get the chrono shift out, but Ona, can he make it out of there is the question. The answer is going to be yes. It's a big cooldown now missing though as Mega in front of him comes in. Onto Faker, he does flash away. Morgan now trying to stay in the fight. The AoE damage is gigantic. It's Kingin. He's coming in to clean it up. They didn't even need him. And
Beautiful fight.
So extremely
extreme modern gameplay by DK.
Nothing in favor of DK.
Just decimation. The fact they take out Ona without even needing the bio. It's a great old leading a charge from Moham. And yes, the Zillion ult is there to save Ona, but it doesn't really change the state of the fight. It's not like Ona comes back up and says, right, time to fight. I have value from me being back alive. The ult was already down.
Even team is falling like a sandwalk.
Mid-T1 goes down without the Herald even being needed. A huge blow for T1, and that sort of close gap in terms of gold is just expanded massively. We'll see the replay here. So Moham, fantastic job. Just throws the ult outright, catches it. The Maokai ult is thrown, and the Zillion ult, just to try and stabilize this. The thing is, the Vial's still there. Faker gets focused, and he is able to flash out so he doesn't die. But he's choked. Ona's choked. The re-engage attempt comes in. But once you've committed the engage from both Boomer and Zeus, and Showmaker and Amy, look at them, they're free hitting, they're disengaged, firing down this whole time.
And the rock
Beautiful
placement from
played by
Showmaker. That one right
Showmaker.
there, but the one previously, right in the choke point, meant that no one could get on the Talia. She was just throwing rocks all over the place, causing an absolute ruckus. And now it's 8-1 in the kill score. The aggression going DK's way every time. And it's ballooned to a 4,000 gold lead.
It feels like there was a very specific strategy that T1 had in this game around the Neela Zillion. And we've seen snippets of what they were hoping to do, but it feels like they haven't really been able to achieve this, and they've just been absolutely annihilated in that fight. And now it gets really scary because the Neela Zillion, when they're behind, really these champions just feel nowhere near as impactful. Like Neela's gonna go in, she'll do a big whip, she might drag someone forwards, but where's the damage gonna come from to really finish them off? We've seen Neela really struggle to get big damage out in these fights. Your only real big carry threat is Faker, who, you know, compared to his opposition is behind, who's gonna have to deal with like a Vial. And the thing is, if Vi ults Faker and Faker gets rezzed by Zillion, he doesn't die, but he's not doing any damage.
And you also can't Valk out, right? Because you just get to lay the rocks down, and then how is he ever supposed to escape? I think that the Talia was a really great choice into this, even though it was picked a little bit earlier. Still, T1 now trying to make their way back out as Voltbreaker gets lucid out of there. Troll Ward's now just being removed from the map. DK making T1's map very, very dark right now, preparing the vision around this Baron that's going to be up in 2.5 minutes. It's only 17.5 minutes into this game. It feels like the game is a lot later. Feels like Baron is something that they could be actually playing around, but instead, quite there just yet. An Ocean Soul going to be on the map right now. And I don't know whether that's exactly what T1 were looking for in this game. Maybe something a bit more pivotal now that they've managed to stack up a couple of them against the flow of play. Might have been a bit nicer.
And I mean, like, the Ocean Soul's okay in terms of their comp being quite bulky. There's a decent amount of poke in D+, but, you know, Aiming's already got a full Realmicon, which I mean, you don't need the full Melanocon, you don't need the Oblivion Orb. I don't think it's a good buy, but the healing reduction is there. So
Yeah.
if they get Ocean Soul, it's going to be cut down. I don't think it's going to change the state of this game. You
It's
know,
a 4K
the
difference
turret
between two
killing
teams.
is there, but the impact, I feel like, we felt more. Also, that mid-tier 1 being down, when D plus push up, threaten mid, they can lean easily into the sides, and the only person who's got that reliable wave clear is Faker.
Yeah.
Yes, Guma kills waves quickly, but to kill waves, he has to walk up to them. That is definitely not something you can do into how strong D plus are right now. So T1 are trying to look for a position where they can threaten this mid-tier 1. Aiming gets back on the map, and no opportunities really open up for them.
Yeah, and the 4-1 that is now in effect, or it's a 1-3-1 actually, with even Showmaker in a side lane. He's got the wall to get back to his teammates and teleport, of course. But I think in a side lane, the Nara is going to be so much more valuable as well. Should be able to put on more pressure than that of the Cassante. We can see already the help of Shelly. Kingen going to try and take down yet another inner turret. That charge is going to be successful. Not able to actually do anything too meaningful to this turret right now.
But it's an auto and a W from a Ziggs, you know.
True.
If D plus push in, rotate over, it would not take much for Aiming to finish off that tower. And this is kind of the problem that teams have had dealing with Ziggs, is because not only does he make it so hard to counter pressure because of his wave clear, but any even slight mistake, even a couple of seconds late in a rotation, is a structure going down. So definitely concerned there. We do see Showmaker picking up the Cosmic Drive, an item that's recently buffed. A lot of health and there's a lot of movement speed, so you know, definitely able to circumvent fights well with that one.
I do like it, because I think that Showmaker's positioning has been fantastic, and it's going to be even easier to get into those positions now. And like you said, feels like it's been buffed quite a few times.
Yeah.
Now the AP is kind of obscene, so probably going to be a Magic Pen item of some kind to come through next, if we even get there.
Yeah, that is one thing, is that D plus are pretty AP heavy, but it's not really a concern when you're this far ahead, and King and Losers are still strong, so
Yeah.
be fine in that regard. Dragon coming up in about 40 seconds. And this one's difficult because on the one hand, you know, if T1 give this up, like, what is is the state of the game going to get better as the game goes on? I'm not really sure it is. But on the other hand, if they fight this and lose, the Baron's just gone. So I can understand if they just want to give this up and try and get some counter pressure, but I'm also kind of unsure as to where they're going to get any counter pressure at this time.
Yeah, I think that having the threat of even getting an Ocean Soul, when you've got so much healing already, then maybe it's going to be critical mass of the amount of healing in team fights if they can actually get them to work out. So far, not necessarily doing so, as King and
I think honestly,
make the map dark on the bottom side.
maybe the strategy should just look for a pick going into the Dragon fight. If you find one, great. If you don't, maybe just give it a pass and look for another opportunity. They are trying to set up vision around the Baron area, which Moham's trying to contest.
Yep. And with the fact that you can just have Lucid just take this dragon by himself, does mean that it is quite difficult for T1 to really do anything about it, especially with the vision monopoly that they do have right now. Aiming going to move in. Doesn't find the bouncing bomb onto the Cassante here, but we can see this double Yordle battle is going to be won by the Yordles into the Cassante. He does go all out as he dashes away. Satchel just to be there, make sure that Aiming is going to be safe. Unable to actually find too much, but they do get the ult out of Zeus, so any sort of fight to break out now could be a rough one.
They also got a TP from Showmaker, so it really felt like when Zeus went in, I think he was just trying to protect the tower from the Ziggs. He knows that the Ziggs gets a ranged spawn. It is going to go now, but they end up getting a TP from Showmaker for it. But yeah, the tower's gone.
Yeah.
Hard to keep that one up for an extended period of time, but that is part of the consequence. That gold lead is just going to keep getting bigger.
The more control they have of the bottom side of the map as well, the more difficult it gets for T1 to be able to safely ward towards the dragon, towards even the Baron here as well, because you're pulling resources from the other side. D+ really just starting to utilize their tempo well, moving towards this mid game. The game has kind of slowed down though, and you do have to kind of keep up the pressure. T1 are not a team to be given any leeway. They might just be able to find that miracle to get themselves back to the game.
I'm just concerned. I mean, I feel like it would have to be like a big engage. Uma and Zeus get on top of the back line and kind of blow them up. But I think it's really hard to do.
Even need to ward the jungle.
Aiming has the most gold in the
Because
game.
they know where the players are
So
playing the
crazy.
game
Yeah,
and where they
in
move.
case you went aware, Aiming is the gold king for the year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's T1 is struggling because Guma doesn't feel that relevant right now. Faker is like the only person on the team is relevant. He's still an item behind the carries of D+. And you're lacking damage. So even if you find someone on D+ who's isolated, it's actually going to take a long time to cut through like Lucid, a King, and a Moham. You can't make a snap pick with this composition. And I think that's really hitting them right now.
And it is something, like on the other side, that's exactly what DK's comp does the best.
Yeah. They definitely are capable of taking out pretty much any target, even the tankier ones almost instantly. You see Lucid contesting, see if they can find anyone to have the bot side, maybe threatening Zeus, but Zeus playing it very reserved and safe.
Yeah, Lucid just going to be a human ward for a few moments, was looking to try and protect his control ward, not quite able to do so. Trying to make it towards the bottom side at this point. Does mean that the rotation over towards the Baron is a little bit more difficult. It does have at least 2 ranks into the Weaver's wall. Create a pretty big one. Now looking to go back. That should be a full arm penetration item being picked up. Oh, not quite yet. So just to finish Codex to come on through. And finding some more control wards. We do have Crit Bloom now done for aiming though. And so the Ziggs, with all of that gold, is putting it to work. Trying to build some things. But man, this game really has slowed down, like a lot. It's a stagnation of the gold lead. It's like 5K, it's been that way forever.
About it. He's good. You know, you didn't need to finish the Morale-Nomicon, the Oblivion Orb is enough, and he's gone for the finished Seraphs. You've seen Viper do this, where you go like Loons and Seraphs. It's really unnecessary. Eliandries would be very high value here.
Yeah.
The enemy's front line, and it keeps the healing reduction from the Oblivion Orb, it keeps it ticking for such a long time. So he could have easily had Eliandries in this situation and an Oblivion Orb and not these items and would be stronger. I don't think it's going to be a major cause of concern, but just while we have some downtime, I thought I'd bring it up. I'm not best pleased.
No, I'm not too psyched about it either, because they don't have any Eliandries. And like, we saw Talia's used to build it a lot. Has the item been removed? Is it okay?
The item's still very okay. But maybe D+ just aren't okay with it.
Maybe. Because, I mean, Trimmick is not going to have it anytime soon. He's still building towards some Magic Pen. Would have been nice in fighting this one as well, as there is the Solar Flare avoided by Ona, but he is still going to be a little bit worse for wear after this one.
So funny seeing the phase rush from Ona combined with the Zillion speed.
Yeah.
So zoomy, but he's not flashless, and I think D+ are like, cool, we can play interruption, he can't get in the pit without flash. We're just going to take Baron, and he actually moved down towards the bot side. It's 7k HP. He's not going to get there in time. There's no way. So that's Baron.
Well, he is running really quickly, like you were talking about, but he has to take the front door. There is a massive no. The bigger in front of him comes down. Ona does manage to avoid that, but the Baron is still going to be taken, and now Lucid gets into the fight. The all-out into the backline is Zeus. Successfully gets himself out.
DK is a strong team at the time in team fight.
And so T1 still running for the hill, still trying to get out, and DK still looking for more. Cease and desist still in the hand of Lucid here, who might be a little bit too far forward. We'll be able to back away there as the Weaver's wall to come down. Faker possibly out of position, but is able to Valkyrie over the wall. And now with this Baron, they're going to be able to already take down the inner turret in the mid lane.
At T1, they managed to get away without losing any members, but that's about
The game is out in T1 and
Baron gone, your base is being threatened.
I don't think T1 can win this game.
Now TP coming in.
Yeah, gone for the flank angle. Let's see whether this is going to work out. Ona is still extremely low as Gumayushi and Zeus trying to make their way in. The blast cone not quite working out there. And so instead, they're just getting back to mid lane. Mega in front of him, a lot of damage onto Ona, but he is going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, Lucid still had ult, so it's really hard to go in there. Kingen had Mega. There was just too much threat for Guma to go in. So now, 2 TPs committed just to watch D+ disengage. They'll pick up another Dragon and Baron in hand. Everything going right for D+ right now. The setup was so
gold
good,
is here.
Moham again leading the charge. He finds the setup on Ona. He bins the flash. Signals immediately there. Okay, job done. Jungler can't get here. Let's do the Baron.
Really nicely played. And T1 just don't really look like they have too much of a response. I think realizing that they were at a pretty decent disadvantage moving into that fight. And with this composition, like, this composition abuses experience. I mean, like, Owner is down 2 levels. Like, Showmaker even in the mid lane. Aiming's hit level 16 right now. Carrier, yes, he has a 2-level advantage over Moham, but Moham basically just needs level 6 and he can stay there for the rest of the game. That's okay.
Yeah, even got the level 11 for the second point. No,
oh, man.
You know what? I'm living good. I'm feasting right now.
He absolutely is. Wonder we might actually hear about the meal that Moham had, because right now it's looking like breakfast was good. That's all I'm saying. He's having a very, very good game. Really seeing these engages. Weaver's wall to come on through here. Faker actually going to be caught on the wrong side of it. Can't get over the wall there as well as Zeus is there to protect him. Mega Inferno Bomb, a lot of damage, but could be more. The build is a little bit different. Now Inner Turret is going to go down. Build kind of irrelevant, to be perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, because D Plus are just playing the map so incredibly well. And Ona now looking for a last-ditch effort. Throws out the ulti here, but Kingan just going to crush his way out of there. Bohan going to be thrown back. Doesn't find a Zenith Blade, really.
T1 don't have a
Saving
big
it up to
damage.
Ghosts. But this inhibitor is going to be sieged down. And with aiming on the Ziggs, structures just don't last. So 2 inhibitors going to fall down here. It's a 4,000 gold Red Bull Baron power play as it finally ticks away. Well, actually more like 3.5k. Minion Wave was absorbed, and so D Plus just in a phenomenal spot right now. It is about a 9,000 gold lead.
And it's just so hard to see the angle for T1. You know, they're looking, you can see them posturing, you see them trying to find the window to engage, but it's really not showing itself. And I think you can see how T Plus are playing the game. There are situations where teams are a bit rushed to end, a bit like, okay, we need to get this done quickly, we have this concern, we have that concern, we have a lead now, we want to maintain it. D Plus are taking this so casually, just so chill.
Yeah.
They know that there's nothing really that can spin this game out of control unless they overcommit and go too deep. If they dive under like the Nexus towers with a Vi ult and someone gets Zillion ulted, then yeah, that could probably throw the game. So just don't do that.
Yeah.
Just stick to the plan. Ziggs kills towers. It's that simple.
I feel like Kingan and Aiming learned from their time on KT that perhaps we just shouldn't rush it. Perhaps tutorial style is the way to do it, and maybe we'll just spare people the heart attack.
A Nexus is a Nexus, you know, it doesn't matter if you kill it.
Exactly, it's 50 gold no matter when you take it.
Exactly. And you know who knows that better than anyone? The Gold King.
Exactly.
He knows the precise value of everything in the game because that's what he's built to do.
It's beautiful. Perhaps that's what they're utilizing here to play so cool, calm, and collected. A couple of inhibitors already taken down. This inner turret's still alive up towards the top side, and that's why D Plus are focusing up there. The macro kind of plays itself at this point. Throw down a Weaver's Wall, take a turret. Throw down a Weaver's Wall, take a turret. Throw down a Weaver's Wall, take a Nexus.
What turret? Where'd it go?
Yeah, kind of just went boom.
And now
I think in next game T1 has to ban
Zeus is not.
Oh,
Ziggs
now
also.
it gets difficult. Okay.
Well, it was already really, very, really difficult. Let's step it up, you know.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Zeus is not a champion who is blessed with ounces, you know, significant amounts of wave clear. Whereas Gumayusi really is.
Yeah.
But having him to be there every single situation you want to clear a wave is painful. And you can see now, these super waves are coming in and Gumas have to go back and forth to pick them up. That's fine right now, but Baron is falling in 50 seconds. Bot and mid inhibitor down. Your AD carry and top laner are working as a 2-man team to clear the wave. I will say they're getting the shared XP from the Neela passive, so maybe this is part of the strategy. Let the inhibs go down and power farm. I'm not convinced, but we'll see.
Yeah, not fully convinced either. Gumayusi does do a lot of damage. He really does. 3 items now completed. But, I mean, there are 4.5 aiming. He is definitely feeling a whole lot better. But the Neela, if she ever does get onto someone, could be able to get some work done. And Showmaker, possibly out of position, is going to try and weave as well his way out. Oh! The twisted advance, it just didn't go off in time there from Ona after the flash as well.
The time flash to get in range for W was slightly out of range.
Yeah.
Usually are. It's a
Oh,
painful
no.
mistake, and it's the sort of one that will cost you the rest of the game at this point, because I think that was the window for T1. They were hoping to get Showmaker. It backfires, and now Baron is just gone. Once again, no flash on Ona. How do you get in the pit?
Well, yeah, this is exactly the way DK prepared it the last time around. He can sprint over there. He does definitely have the ability to run really, really fast. Mega Inferno Bomb goes down there, trying to get the chrono shift out of Carrier, try and use it on himself. He gets a drive-by ward, but it gets switched off instantly. And now a teleport in. All right, T1, they envision that this is going to be the game winning or losing fight, perhaps, as Lucid is going to take down the Baron. Can they find the team fight, though? As Kingan gets dragged down, he tries to crush his
Finally
way through there,
T1 get the
but isn't going to
first
be able to
kill.
survive. So the
Why is on?
sacrifice of the Nard, just to guarantee the Baron, a solar flare goes down onto Gumayusi. He's thrown back through the rocks as well, but he keeps himself alive. His health bar, the shield, aiming is teleporting into the base.
What's the 50 gold?
Yeah, he just wants that 50 gold, Orcs. As now Lucid going to try and continue stopping them. Aiming is just just winning the game, guys. He's just winning the
Beautiful
game.
game
He's
played
stopping
by
the Mavs.
Aiming.
The teleport to come through, and it's unorthodox.
Well played.
But whichever way gets that 50.
Finally,
gold is
DK
the
win
one
first
that
game.
wins you the game.